Level 1, the disposable. The polygraph chair is still warm from whoever sat in it before you. The examiner doesn't introduce himself, he wraps the blood pressure cuff, clips the galvanic sensors to your fingertips, and asks you to state your name. Then he asks if you've ever betrayed someone who trusted you. You haven't even received your badge yet. You are 24, you have a graduate degree, a clean record, and a referral from a professor who once consulted for the Directorate of Analysis. The background investigation touched 46 people. Former roommates, high school teachers, an ex-girlfriend's mother. By the time you sit in this chair at Langley, you have already been turned inside out, and you still know nothing. Your first assignment is a cubicle in the Directorate of Intelligence. You read cables, hundreds a day, from stations you've only studied in textbooks. You write assessments that are edited beyond recognition by people 3 pay grades above you. You are GS7, making $49,000 a year, eating lunch in a windowless cafeteria where no one asks what you do because everyone already knows. The rule is simple. Be useful before anyone notices you're replaceable. Out of 19 analysts in your cohort, 6 will transfer within 18 months. 3 more will be moved to administrative roles where their clearance matters but their ambition doesn't. The ones who talk too much don't get fired. They get forgotten. You survive by reading faster, writing tighter, and keeping quiet. Until the day someone from the other side of the building asks if you've ever considered operational work. You say yes before you understand what you're agreeing to. Level 2, the proving ground. You report to Camp Peary, a 9,000-acre facility near Williamsburg that doesn't appear on any public map. For 6 months, your name is replaced by a pseudonym. You learn surveillance detection routes, dead drops, brush passes, agent recruitment. You fire weapons you will likely never carry. You learn to pick locks you will probably never touch. But the real curriculum is subtler. You learn how to lie to someone's face while making them believe you are the most honest person in the room. Your class starts with 32. By week 10, 4 are gone. 1 broke during a simulated interrogation that lasted 9 hours. 1 fabricated a training report. 2 quit. Not because they couldn't handle it, but because they saw what the work required and decided the cost was too high. You watch them leave and feel nothing. That numbness is the first thing the system takes from you, and you don't recognize the loss for what it is. You graduate and receive your first overseas posting, a cover role at a U.S. embassy in a country where the local service monitors every diplomatic vehicle within 3 blocks. Your job is to recruit foreign nationals to spy for the United States by identifying vulnerabilities, financial pressure, ideological disillusionment, ego, coercion, and exploiting them. You tell yourself the targets are willing. Some are, some just don't see another way out. You stop drawing the distinction around month 4. Level 3, the operator. 3 years in, you are running 6 assets. 1 is a mid-level official in a foreign defense ministry who passes you classified readiness reports every 2 weeks for $8,000 a month wired to an account his wife doesn't know about. Another is a telecommunications engineer who installs monitoring equipment where you direct, believing he's assisting a counter-narcotics effort. He is not. You manage their fears, their egos, their families, their lives. You become the most important person in their lives, and they have no idea who you are. You carry secrets now that have weight. You know the true names of agents inside foreign intelligence services. You know which allied nations are targets of collection programs those allies believe don't exist. You know about a rendition in 2014 that never appeared in any congressional briefing. This knowledge doesn't make you powerful. It makes you trapped. The more you know, the less the agency can afford to let you drift. Your polygraph cycle shortened from 5 years to 2. Indispensability is a leash you tightened yourself. You stop calling old friends, not because you're told to, but because you can't sustain the performance, the invented job title, the vague answers, the cheerful lies. Your marriage bends under a weight your spouse can sense but never name. You come home from Oman or Bogota or Nairobi, and the person waiting for you searches your face for someone they recognize. Sometimes they find him, increasingly they don't. Level 4, the authority. You are promoted to Chief of Station, the senior CIA officer in country, reporting to the division chief at Langley, and, in practice, to no one else on the ground. You oversee every clandestine operation in your theater. You approve recruitment pitches, authorize payments, and manage liaison relationships with foreign services whose interests align with yours only when convenient. Your first major decision: whether to authorize an operation that will compromise a source inside a partnered government. The intelligence is critical. It confirms a weapons transfer threatening a regional ally. But the source, if exposed, will be arrested and likely killed. Headquarters cables proceed. You sign the authorization at 11:40 p.m. in an office with no windows. 4 months later, you learn the source disappeared. The cable says compromised. You understand what that means. You file it and open the next one. You begin seeing the people below you, the way your superiors once saw you, as instruments. You assign the best officers to the hardest targets and accept that some will burn out or make mistakes that end careers. You write fitness reports that destroy futures with a single carefully worded sentence. You do this not out of cruelty, but because the mission tolerates nothing less. Hesitation at this level doesn't read as compassion. It reads as weakness. And weakness here invites consequences you cannot absorb. Level 5, the unseen hand. You return to Langley as an associate deputy director. You no longer run operations. You design the frameworks within which they are conceived, approved, and executed. You draft covert action findings for the president's signature. You sit in the situation room during crisis meetings, offering options that range from measured to catastrophic, each with a deniability threshold. Your decisions ripple through stations on 4 continents, affecting officers and assets whose names you will never read. The distance is the mechanism. It is what allows the system to function at scale, and it is what hollows you from the inside. You approve a program funding proxy forces in a conflict zone. 18 months later, a congressional committee questions whether those forces committed atrocities. You testify in a closed session, choosing words with surgical precision. Nothing you say is untrue. Everything you say is incomplete. At this altitude, honesty is a matter of framing. You have a corner office on the 7th floor. You make $195,000 a year. You have a security detail when you travel, and access to intelligence fewer than 30 people in the country are cleared to see. You have not had an unguarded conversation with another human being in over a decade. Level 6, the afterlife. You retire. Or you are retired. The distinction is semantic. There is a quiet ceremony, a medal you cannot display, a pension deposited into an account bearing your real name, a name that feels, after 31 years, like it belongs to someone else. You move to a house in Northern Virginia. You sit on the back porch in the morning and drink coffee and watch the tree line, and think about a man in a foreign capital who trusted you because you told him you'd keep him safe. You did not keep him safe. You authorized the operation that exposed him because the intelligence justified the risk. You remember his file photograph. You remember his daughter's name. You remember these things with a clarity that mocks every effort you've made to forget. The paranoia doesn't leave. You check the locks twice. You sit with your back to the wall in restaurants. You notice surveillance patterns in parking lots where no surveillance exists. The architecture of suspicion, built over 3 decades, doesn't dismantle because the mission ended. The mission never ends. It just stops needing you. You are unrecognizable. The 24-year-old who sat in that polygraph chair, earnest, scrubbed, certain that service meant something clean, is a stranger. You didn't lose him in a single moment. You lost him across 1,000 small decisions, each one rational, each one necessary, each one taking something you told yourself you could afford to give. Somewhere at Langley, a new analyst walks through the lobby for the first time. She is 23. She has a clean record and a referral and 14 months of waiting behind her. The polygraph chair is still warm. The examiner clips the sensors to her fingertips and asks her to state her name. She answers clearly, believing the hardest part is getting in. She doesn't know yet that getting in is the easy part. She doesn't know what staying will cost. You do. The machine doesn't pause. It doesn't remember. It just keeps running.